Rebellion is easily one of my favorite developers. Many might know them for their popular Sniper Elite series. At the time of making this video, they released 4 entries and have a 5th on the way. One thing that I can really give this developer credit for is how they improve with each new entry. Each Sniper Elite sequel improves on the last, with 4 being a delightful combination of sniping, Splinter Cell-like stealth, mixed with the freedom and openness found in some of the Hitman games. This same quality can be seen in their Zombie Army series. What started off as a fun spin-off to the Sniper Elite games has now turned into a reliable and good co-op shooter. Rebellion smartly takes the improvements from their Sniper Elite games and weaves them into their zombie games. But before they were heavily focused on either of these series, they worked on several games for Sony's PlayStation Portable. 2006 was a big year for them. They worked on 2 PSP ports like From Russia with Love and Gun. In both instances, Rebellion was trying to retain what made the console version so compelling, while being able to provide that on a portable device. At the same time, they added content that was not featured in the console versions. For example, From Russia with Love featured AI bots in the multiplayer, with Gun featuring exclusive missions and a brand new multiplayer mode. Both were rather good PSP ports, but these were not the only games that Rebellion released that year. At the same time, they were working on a movie tie-in game exclusively for the PSP for the reboot of Miami Vice. This was a game that I think many passed on thinking it was just another movie tie-in game. Oddly enough, this game ended up surprising most people who played it, and over its time this third-person shooter turned into a bit of an underrated gem on the PSP. Miami Vice is a really good game and is easily one of the better third-person shooters on the handheld. Miami Vice is a solid third-person shooter and an impressive title for the PSP. Rebellion managed to deliver a very fun third-person shooter that controls pretty well on the handheld. Along with this, there are a bunch of interesting elements that add more depth than one might expect from a title like this, with an interesting upgrade and economy system. To add to this is a pretty awesome soundtrack with a good variety in locations to keep the action interesting. This is a quality shooter that is worth checking out, along with being a rare example where the game is much better than the film.
There he is. Hey, you! I'm gonna fuck you up!
The bulk of the gameplay in Miami Vice is focused on the shooting. Simply put, the controls feel like a mix of Resident Evil 4 mixed with cover shooting mechanics. The left stick controls your movement along with turning the camera. When you draw your weapon, the same stick is used then to aim. It is important to note that you cannot move and shoot at the same time. Just like in Resident Evil 4, you are locked into a stationary position as you fire at enemies. I think if this game was made on the home consoles at the time, you would have seen a more traditional control setup with the use of 2 sticks. Rebellion was smart in how they designed their game on the PSP and created a set of controls that were good considering the hardware's limitations. The controls lend themselves well to stop and pop action. You can take cover behind most objects and will spend most of your time trading shots with the henchmen. When it comes to the shooting itself, it's really good. Both the sound effects and impact are very good for this portable title. The guns have enough bang to give them enough punch, with enemies reacting to each of your hits and some resulting in enjoyable death animations. The guns are fun to fire and provide an appropriate amount of feedback to make them enjoyable to use.
Cop scum!
Outside of the cover shooting, there are some other movement options and attacks that you can do. For example, you can sprint to help you decrease the downtime in shootouts, along with helping you to easily get to another cover position. You can crouch for some minor stealth, but this is never really the focus of the action, and in most cases you will quickly get caught when you enter a new area. Along with this, you can perform some melee attacks and stealth attacks if you get the opportunity, but these things mostly feel tacked on compared to the shooting. There's some nice details included in the action, like some destruction indestructible cover, along with creating some new cover positions and how you will walk slower when injured. Like I said, the cover shooting is the main focus of the combat, but there are a handful of boat sequences where you need to hunt down other drug boats and blow them up. These are short and decent distractions, but the controls for the boats can be really loose. The shooting on its own would have made this a solid third-person shooter for the PSP, but the added economy system adds a layer of depth that I was not expecting. As you complete missions, you are rated, and this contributes to your reputation ranks. The higher the reputation, the better chances you have with interacting with the different drug barons. While in missions, you will collect a variety of drugs. Between missions, you can visit different dealers to sell your drugs for cash. There is a fun system here where you can sell drugs to one dealer and then buy them from another to try and maximize your profits. Your best option for money is to sell them to the barons. Once you have the money, you can buy one of two outfits. You can also buy guns and upgrade them as well. Drugs can even be used to provide you with intel for your next mission, like locations of pickups, enemy positions, and more. Lastly, in missions, you will find flash drives that can be hacked. After completing a minigame, this will open up more barren locations and upgrade options. The economy and upgrading always gives you something to work towards. When it comes to the flaws, I have a few. For one, I feel like the option to blind fire would have been a nice addition here. Again, while Rebellion created a good control system for this game, and it works really well, there is a bit of clunkiness to it because of the hardware it's on. The AI can also get stuck in the environment sometimes. While I really enjoyed the economy system, you will find yourself with extreme amounts of money by the midpoint, and it can make the system feel a bit unbalanced. If Rebellion ever wanted to make a sequel or a spiritual successor, I would love to see them expand this area of the game, maybe even including an RPG loyalty system with side missions. It is a really interesting idea and is explored decently for a portable title, but there is a lot of potential still here. Overall, Miami Vice is a really good PSP game. Before we move to the conclusion, I want to mention the soundtrack. Again, Rebellion went above and beyond for this title with the music. From the main theme to the action music, it's all really good here. Here are a few tracks from the game. Miami Vice is an overlooked and underrated PSP exclusive. As a cover shooter, it makes use of the hardware limitations well, to create a satisfying control scheme with good shooting. The stop and pop action is good with quality sound and impact effects, while not completely flawless, as I would like a more balanced economy system with expanded aspects. Miami Vice still delivers. I would love for Rebellion to make a sequel if they still had some form of the license, or a spiritual successor that takes much of these elements and expands on them. I highly recommend Miami Vice. If you're interested in being notified of new videos, please hit the subscribe button and bell. And if you would like to support the channel and get early access to content, please check out my Patreon. All of the links will be at the end of this video and within the description. And thank you very much for watching.